in the UK. This is an ABP slaughterhouse where they are murdering cows behind us as we speak right now. We're here today not to cause alarm, harassment, distress, or any form of intimidation. We're here today to bring the truth to the public in form of protest, our freedom of speech, and our right to our assembly. Our two disclaimers. The second one is that we're not here to clash with non-vegans and point fingers at you and say you're a bad person. We want to talk to you, we want to come across and have a conversation with you and let you know what we've seen and what we've heard as to what made us vegan. Because when you're educated on the industries, you can then make an educated decision as to whether you want to continue to be violent towards animals or whether you simply want to live vegan. As you come in this live stream, two things that we really need you to do. First of all, can you double tap the live stream so we get the likes coming in? The likes is what gets the room going, so when the animals come in from this direction, plenty of people see them, the world need to see them. The second thing that we need you to do is put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations, and subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap the stream. You have to subscribe to chat here, so please make sure you've subscribed, and then let us know the demographic of this live stream. 1's for vegans, 2's for not vegans, but you consider yourself a kind person, 3's for anti-vegans. Now in this live stream, we've got 3 dots in the top right-hand corner. If you click on them 3 dots, you can get to the Linktree link that will take you to Dominion, Ignorant, and Help to Go Vegan. 3 really useful resources. Watch the 2 documentaries first and then go to the bottom and have Help Going Vegan, because when you watch them 2 documentaries, trust me, you will not want to be responsible for the violence that you will see towards the most innocent animals. This slaughterhouse behind me here, like I said, they're killing cows from the dairy industry and the beef industry.
Catacorn just put, have you heard of free range?
Yeah, free range, organic, grass-fed, they're all marketing ploys, marketing terms, so that the consumer believes that what happens is humane. There is no welfare here. We are here about animal rights, the right to their bodily autonomy and their right to their life. We're not here saying that they should be on greener grass with bigger houses and sharper knives. We're here saying that animals should be left alone. They shouldn't be forced into existence, and they shouldn't be executed and murdered for optional products. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan. Be open-minded to these conversations and you consider yourself a kind person. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. We're here right now live outside of a slaughterhouse where they're killing these cows. And I say dairy cows and beef cows because the dairy industry and the beef industry are 2 different breeds of cows, but they won't tell you that. The consumer never knows that. The consumer actually believes either 2 things. They believe that dairy cows eat grass and produce milk magically, or they believe that we just take a little bit of excess milk that the babies don't need, and mums and babies and everyone's living happily in a big green field. None of that is true. The dairy industry is a standalone industry. They force the females to be pregnant. If the calf's born male, then they're executed because they're a waste product in the dairy industry. If they're born female, they're isolated from their mum because the milk that was intended for her will be off to be sold to be cheese, to be yogurts, to be chocolate, etc., etc., etc. And then she will see the slaughterhouse. Yep.
HS Mora, but do you think we are dumb?
Do I think you're dumb?
Yeah, for people not knowing this.
The people don't know it. A lot of people don't know this. In fact, when I go out and Mel goes out, we go out together and we do outreach, we speak to people, we speak to the members of the public. No one knows this. Let me just put it to you this way though. If you are intelligent and you do know this, and you still pay for animals to be exploited knowing this, then you're not dumb, you're an evil person. If you know what you're paying for and you're willingly sending animals to slaughterhouses, in my opinion, that's evil. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan and you are triggered by people saying be kind to animals. Double tap the live stream.
Most people don't know this. Where can they find out what happens?
Go to the top 3 dots in the top right-hand corner of this live stream. Click on the Linktree link, and the 2 top documentaries there are Dominion and Ignorant. Go and watch both of them. For the context of the live stream right now, I've just had a waft from the kill floor come past us, and it absolutely reeks. It smells of that metallic, irony, death smell. Now that's the insides of innocent animals who were taken inside this slaughterhouse to be executed today for an optional product that you do not need. Taste, social pressure, culture, religion, no justifications to what happens to animals.
Aussie Fortnite bloke put, how do you get built like that without meat, animal products, and you're a big lad?
Thank you very much for your comment. You get built like this because you just watch what nutrients you eat. I get all my nutrients from plants. When you care enough about the animals, you're more driven and motivated to find plant-based sources of protein. If you go into the Linktree link Go to the bottom and click on Help to Go Vegan. John the Bodybuilding Vegan's got a load of free ebooks and recipe guides all there to help anyone who wants to go vegan. But listen, your body needs nutrients, but you get to select the ingredients. And when you have an option to select plant-based ingredients where no one dies, or animal products where they're screaming for their life inside of a slaughterhouse, isn't it just common sense to get the plant-based products and not cause that much violence to all these animals? Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan and you don't care about animals. Please make sure you double tap the stream. We are live outside of a slaughterhouse to bring you the truth and the reality. This industry relies on secrecy. It does not want the consumer, it does not want the public knowing its dirty secrets. Well, we're here today to expose every single one of them. And as you stay on this live stream, we're going to explain all these industries and tell you the actual truth and the reality. For example, did you know when people say, I love my bacon, bacon sandwiches, bacon though, did you know that the pig industry takes 6-month-old piglets and puts them inside of a gas chamber? There are 9 active gas chambers here in the UK. This is a worldwide standard practice of slaughtering pigs, and they put them in CO2 gas where they burn from the inside out before they get stabbed in the throat at 6 months old.
Oh,
that's what happens.
There's another person there, the security now.
We got 2. What? Who is that?
Looks like someone from The Office.
Who is that? Is this someone from The Office? You know what they do? You know what they do a lot of the time? Is they hold trucks back, or they'll liaise with the truck drivers so that the truck drivers will phone, so when the trucks come around the corner, they have the gate already open. What do? You got a shirt on, you don't work on the kill floor, do you? You don't work on the kill floor wearing that nice blue shirt. You stay far away from the killing. You don't look like you go anywhere near that kill floor. Don't get blood on them shoes. You might not have blood on his shoes, but he's got blood on his hands. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream. We are live outside of a slaughterhouse. Now I want to bring you more truths. The egg industry is a standalone industry. The egg industry and the chicken meat industry are 2 different breeds of chickens. Males born in the egg industry are the same as males born in the dairy industry. They're a waste product. They don't produce eggs. So they send day-old chicks to a macerator. That's a fancy word for an open blender. And that's for your organic, free-range, local, and all the other marketing BS.
Yeah, we saw a small range farmer coming out today.
All coming out here.
UP Tops 577. Mate, people are getting executed and you're protesting for pigs. You are a disgrace.
You're a disgrace if you're preaching peace whilst you're paying for violence. How fucking dare you? How dare you stand there and say people are being executed, fuck the pigs? Fuck you, if that's your mindset. Because these pigs morally should be considered the same as any other animals, any other people. The cows should be morally considered the same as any other people, any other animals. The chickens, the lambs, any animal, any sentient being should be morally considered. How dare you have a superiority complex? You speciesist person. That's the same as racism. You're a racist towards animals, Utop, whoever you are, Utop. You're a racist towards animals if that's your mindset. You evil, dark person. I hope the world knows exactly what you're like. Everyone in the chat, take note of that handle and let them know, let the world know that that person believes that pigs are lower than humans and you can do whatever you want to pigs and humans are more superior. You're speciesist. If this was 100, 200 years ago, you'd be saying it's okay to do that to that group of people because that's just what happens. There's more important things going on right now. That's your mindset. You preach peace and then you put violence on your plate and you wear violence and you go and pay for animals to be tested on. You go to the racetracks, you go to the aquariums. Absolute shame on you. Shame on you for trying to say that we're wrong for standing up for animals when bad things are happening to humans. You know what you can do? You can stop paying for animals to be violently oppressed and exploited and also care about humans. How about being consistent with your morals and ethics rather than pointing out that vegans aren't standing up for humans? Humans are always put to the top. What about the animals? Animals are being exploited since the beginning of time, all the way through any atrocities that humans have faced, and they continue to be exploited even after them atrocities end. The animals should come first. The animals need light shined on the darkness. They're not just exploited and killed, they're mocked and laughed at, and no one cares about them. They put bacon emojis, they put meat emojis, and they just say, bacon though, I love my steak, you're not taking away my cheese. You're supporting an industry that's violent towards baby, defenseless, vulnerable animals. Shame on that person for that comment. You should be embarrassed.
We don't pay for humans to get slaughtered, by the way, but you pay for animals.
Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Double tap the live stream. I'm going to swap in with
Oh,
Mel.
he's getting angry right now.
Who's getting angry?
Get a truck driver.
Oh, this guy's getting angry.
There. Getting angry.
He's getting angry. Let's show everyone in here. Show everyone in here. We're going to show you inside of a slaughterhouse. Just watch this. Watch this. How do you sleep at night taking in baby animals in there to die? How old were your victims this morning? I saw you yesterday. You were here yesterday as well. How do you live with yourself betraying animals in the way that you do? The accountability levels on you is a lot greater than anyone watching this. You're the person responsible for dropping off them animals to die at this slaughterhouse. Shame on you. You should be absolutely disgraced. I would never be able to sleep. I wouldn't be able to live with myself every night knowing that I took innocent animals to die. Yeah, you do your window up now. Do your window up now. Shame on you for what you do to these animals. Highlight this. The world needs to see this. Absolutely disgusting. The vehicles here that are waiting to come out, they're responsible for taking the animals into a slaughterhouse and betraying them, pretending that everything's okay, so they get off and go into the layerage, and then they drive off and they leave them, they abandon them, and then later on today, they get taken into the kill floor where they're stabbed to death. That's the reality of what happens. These people walk among members of public. These people are around your children. When you go out in public, you can be walking next to this person, and you would never even know that they're responsible for being part of such a horrific, violent industry. None of them speak, by the way. No one coming out of a slaughterhouse speaks to any of us, because they know the minute they speak, they literally put the cuffs on themselves. What happens inside here is absolutely horrific.
Yeah, watch this. Watch how he'll ignore or mock.
This person will just drive off. He will not speak. He will not say a thing. Subscribe and 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and 2 if you're not, but you're a kind person. Subscribe and 3 if you're anti-vegan. How dare you? Yeah, you look at me from the side of your eyes. We're never going away. We're never going to stop. We will keep exposing what you do to them animals. You'll be known by history. You'll be known as history's evil. Absolutely horrific.
Look at this.
Look inside of a slaughterhouse, everybody.
Yeah.
Look inside the gates of a slaughterhouse. This is the last look that them animals will see. This is the last moments that they'll see. That truck on the left, they had animals on it this morning. They were on the live stream when we first came in. Them animals do not want to die. Them animals have exactly the same motivation to live as anyone else, same as you. Absolutely horrific. Shame on this industry. Shame on anyone who works in this industry. It needs to be highlighted. People should not be able to come to these places of work unchallenged. They should not be able to come to these places of work just without any pressure on them.
Yeah, it's not fair. If the animals are being exploited because of them, we'll be here, we'll be pressurised, and we'll be here to our right to assembly and our right to protest against the evil that happens in this world. We are not here to hate on you guys, but we are here to pressurise this industry and turn your heads against these disgusting evil industries that have mugged you off and lied to you, okay? Nobody who sees inside of a slaughterhouse pays for it ever again unless you are a psychopath. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream. I'm at a slaughterhouse right now. In that truck there was about 100 cows crammed in together in the boiling hot sun, by the way. No aircon, no anything. Is that a question?
Number 2, Kate Metcalf put number 2. Oh, God. Number 2. I won't make fun of people that are vegan. I love all.
Okay, well, if you're not vegan, you don't love all right now.
What's this guy doing? Let me get this guy.
What are you doing? Look at this guy from the office coming down to
Who's
come
this guy?
down. What do you look the victims in the eyes? Every bit moment that you are living, you are making blood money.
Why are they talking to you, Ken? What do you think they're
Because
doing?
this security is new. They're probably looking at what trucks are coming in. They're probably seeing if they can call off the trucks. I don't know that for a fact, but I presume that's what they're likely doing. Call in trucks and say, don't come, activists are here right now. Probably telling him how to be, what to do. Make sure he doesn't speak to us. Make sure he doesn't look at the victims in the eyes. Because when people see the animals and when they see the victims, they go vegan. They end working somewhere like here.
Blood on your hands. Blood on your hands. Blood on your hands.
They are
Shame on you.
childlike beings. They want to live just like you and I If you're not vegan, it's a form of racism. You are being speciesist to the animals who did nothing wrong. They're no different to you and I. People are treating them different purely on the way that they look. They are gentle, they are sweet, they are angels who don't want to die. I'm at a slaughterhouse behind me. We do not speak to you guys the same way as we speak to them. They know better. In fact, there's a new security on here today and yesterday who we've never seen before, who is here always being told what to do, being bossed around, told probably not to speak to us. So when they come out, they never speak to us. Thank you. Guys, please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. So that person who said, I love all, I don't care if you love me, hate me, just stop partaking in the violence towards animals. How do you live with yourself? Let me take that so you can see.
I got it. Are you holding the truck backs today? Is that what's on your piece of paper? Are you holding the trucks back? Is that what they're coming out and telling you to do?
You can leave. When good people know better, they leave. The animals don't want to die. They're sentient just like you and I. They're like childlike beings who deserve protection, not violence. A lot of them get skinned alive, by the way, in there. 20% of cows go to slaughter pregnant. 20% of cows go to slaughter pregnant. The way they kill the babies, that they'll cut into the stomach of the mother who is hanging up being killed, and they'll take the baby out and they'll rip the sacks open, they'll leave them to suffocate on the floor for about 20 minutes. It takes about 20 minutes for them to suffocate on the floor. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream.
Where can people see what happens inside these places?
Yeah, go to the link in the description. The 3 dots in the right-hand top corner of this live stream. Go to the link and see Dominion on YouTube. See what happens. Did you know that pigs at 6 months old are forced into CO2 gas chambers here in the UK and around the world? Our amazing friend Joey Carbstrong put cameras in for the first ever time in the UK, a world's first in the UK. Go and have a look at Pignorant on Amazon Prime in that link in the description. See what happens, because they told the public the pigs just fall asleep. They don't feel anything. They suffocate. They suffocate to death. They burn from the inside out, okay? Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. How many likes we got in here right now?
57
Let's
already.
get to 100 likes. 100 likes as soon as possible, and I'm going to be telling you some secrets that the industry will never want you to know. Some way that you'll never hear this anywhere else. Trucks will be coming in today. Stay on this live stream. This live stream is a life and death live stream.
I want to say thank you to all the vegans. So many amazing vegans in this chat. I can see your comments. The comments are moving fast. Thank you for being here for the animals.
Yeah, absolute legends. Keep pushing like in this live stream. The likes will get the algorithm out so the animals can be seen. Animals are inside here right now being stabbed in the throat.
Tracy Mills put only halal slaughterhouses stab animals.
No, all slaughterhouses stab animals. It's not your fault that you don't know that. I used to be against halal before I was vegan, so I understand why you think that. Even the RSPCA are against halal, and that's kind of the condition, and they want you to be perpetuated so that you pay for this violence. Every single animal gets stabbed in the throat, okay? What happens is that the stunning is different. So piglets, turkeys, chickens, egg-laying chickens, they get gassed to death. They get gassed, which doesn't stun them. Like, doesn't mean that they're unconscious. It means that they fall to the floor and they can't fight back. Then they get a knife in their throat before they get dunked into boiling water alive. Please double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. Subscribe, push 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan.
What do you say to someone who just says, I don't care?
I just think that's really sad. I think that's really sad, and I think, you know what? You deserve to be in the animals' position. In fact, I wish that you could experience a moment of what the animals face, because only then the psychopaths have empathy. You're a psychopath if you don't care, okay? That's a lack of empathy. Yep.
Christopher Wunsch put they don't get gassed, they get knifed in a very humane way.
Knifed in a humane. Listen to yourself. Why would I be here trying to lie to you? The majority of animals are gassed. Go and have a look at Pignorant on Amazon Prime. Our friend put the cameras in the gas chamber in Manchester. Manchester then shut down. But Pilgrim's Pride is also in Bristol and all around the country, all around the world. The majority of the way that they kill animals is a gas chamber before they get stabbed in the throat. There is no way to stab somebody in the throat humanely. You're being mugged off right now. You've sadly been mugged off by the industry that has lied to you, and you believed it without a question. So did I. So I'm not judging you, I'm not hating on you, but ask yourself, why would I come here when I have no gain from being here? I'm breaking my heart being here, listening to animals crying for their life inside here, just to tell you the truth, to defend them. Please subscribe at the top and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe at the top, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet. Subscribe at the top of this live and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream.
Jaden Baker put, when cattle are killed, they stun in the head, but it's completely painless, and pigs get stunned too, so when their throats are cut open, it doesn't hurt, but also their throats are cut open to release the blood.
Wow. Again, say your sentence out loud. You have been mugged off. The fact that you call animals cattle shows that you view them as slaves. Okay, the stunning process is not for the animals. Know that. It is for the workers, because when you come at an animal with a knife, they try and evade, they try and protect themselves, just like how you would. You would fight for your life, and these animals do fight for their lives. Okay, so the safest way they do it for the workers, not the animals, they put a bolt gun in their head, or they put them through an electric bath or a gas chamber, and then they stab them in the throat. Okay, because they wouldn't be able to stab these animals in the throat without doing that as easily, because the animals try and fight for their lives. Okay, go and watch Pignorant on Amazon Prime in the description to go and see, it's on YouTube to go and see the reality. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. If you are believing this word humane in front of murder, in front of stabbing, in front of gas chambers, then you have been truly mugged off by the industry. I believed it as well, because you grow up in a world thinking these industries aren't allowed to lie. How many likes we want, by the way? Because I'm going to tell someone a secret.
69 likes.
69. Let's get to 100 as soon as possible. And then I'm going to be telling you something that the industry do that not many people know about.
Zach said, God gave us animals for us to slaughter them for food. Halal slaughterhouses cut the animal's vein in the throat so there is no pain caused. It's an instant kill.
Oh, that sounds really lovely. Why would you believe in a God that is so violent towards animals? In fact, if you believe in Prophet Muhammad, the reason that they did halal is because back then they were trying to find a better way of doing the wrong thing, because they cared a little bit. Now, when you slit someone's throat, it's still wrong. I'm not here for better welfare. I'm not here to say, oh, it's okay to kill you and your family if you don't get hurt or if you don't feel pain.
Mano Gemons, my name is Phil. I'm on my son's YouTube account. I was wondering if I could have some advice on good vegan items. I think I'm going to go vegan because of you people. Thank you. Absolute legend. Well done for going on your son's YouTube account. Yeah, absolutely. It's so easy to be vegan. Not many people think that it's easy. I didn't know how to be vegan. I just knew I couldn't pay for the oppression of animals. Basically, you can get everything you can now, but there's a vegan alternative for everything. Like, my shoes are from Skechers. They're completely vegan. They're even labeled vegan. You can get vegan sausages, vegan burgers, vegan kebabs, vegan pizza, plant milks, vegan cheese. You just gotta have a look around the supermarkets. There's actual sections that say plant-based. And then before you buy any products, like any clothing, just check the label and make sure it's not made of leather or wool or my makeup's all vegan. Yeah, and go into the description. There's help in there to go vegan at the bottom as well if you've got any concerns. Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream, like, share and comment. Raven Power put, what about fish?
Yeah, thank you for that. So fish are animals. They also feel pain. They have central nervous systems. They have a brain. They have a conscious experience. They have peripheral nerves on the outside of their body as well, so they can determine where the ocean is kind of moving and what, like, if it's too salty, if it's fresh, if it's the currents. They're very sensitive, and in fact, when there was a study done, experimentation done, which I'm against experimentations, but when they put food in one side of the tank with poison that hurt the fish, they wouldn't go to the food because they didn't want to get hurt. They stayed in the area and they'd rather starve than have the food and get hurt. So fish do feel pain. In fact, I've seen some really sad stuff of fish when they get stabbed in the throat and their eyes are like looking at their killer. It's horrible, and their tails curl up. Just because fish cannot scream with the that we can't hear doesn't mean they don't feel pain. They deserve a right to life just like you and I. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan.